Welcome once again to our sessions with Uche Chukwumojeku. We had an amazing time last week, and she was dealing with laying the foundation for emotional intelligence. So we're going to continue today on that thought, and she's just going to teach us how to process our emotions. Are you ready for Uche? Are you ready? All right, Uche, over to you. How to process our emotions. I'll be back when she's done.
The leader is the lead. So let's just move on. Definition, the ability to recognize the emotions and emotions of others and the effect they have on others, and then change the outcome if need be. So it's recognize, and then alter. Recognize, alter. So we're just going to talk about the recognition part today. That's all we can take on this journey, just the recognition part. If you want more, we can then have the conversation how to have more. The recognition part. So first of all is there's what we call moodometer. What are the ways to do this recognition? First, is to learn to be calm. We live in an environment, in the world that has become so noisy. It's either your phone is distracting you or your laptop or a meeting. There was a day I was in, Sunday evening, I was in 2 meetings. It's getting worse. So much noise. So people are no longer able to sit still and just be. Meditation is now becoming a big thing, but it should be normal. So, ability to sit still and recognize, how do I feel? And I say to people, do that often. Do that when you are with your spouse after a conversation. Because remember, it's about awareness. Do that after you've had a conversation with your child. Do that after you've done a presentation. Do that before you just go in for a sales call. How do I feel? Because how you feel will likely impact the outcome and your interpretation of events when you meet people. Your current mood, he says that. It's not he said that. A lot of the time, couples that work probably high pressure job, they quarrel a lot in the evenings. Because, and I'll explain the science behind that. Because at that moment, it's hard to think. Thinking is the highest function that a human being is capable of. Thinking. So what are we saying? You need to start to develop the mental muscle to recognize how you feel. Oh, I feel relaxed. Oh, I feel happy. Oh, I feel disgusted. Oh, I feel joyful. Oh, how did this conversation make me feel? What fear has this conversation brought up? Why am I not happy? Why am I feeling this way? You are always sitting back to audit how you feel. That is an emotional intelligent muscle that you are developing. One of the things I remember I've had it was like an 8-week stretch training on sales and all. And I remember the day that we ended, a friend asked me a question. I said, listen, my current state, anything I tell you now, don't take it as serious because I'm sure I'm not thinking. You see, you should know when you're not thinking. You should know when you're not thinking and avoid thinking responsibilities. So you already know you are not thinking. You are hijacked. Yes, you want to talk. It's the chimp talking. And we are leaders. Leaders don't let you. I'll show us how to manage your chimp, but it's not in park. It's not in human relationship that you let chimp to talk. So you should know when you are not thinking. Good. So you need to have how am I currently feeling? How am I feeling? Be able to write that. Some people want to journal. It's fine, but I say do that 3 times. When you have conversation with some very significant people in your life, stop. When you're done, how did I feel about this conversation now? I did some journaling about 4 years ago, and last week I was reading it. I called the individual and said, oh, see what I was in my journal. I had a beautiful conversation looking back. Good. I explained this last week, but we will revisit it again so that I will show us in very, very basic terms how emotional intelligence and all of those things happen. So data comes in through your 5 senses, your eyes, your nose, your mouth, your skin, your ear. And I explained last week that as at the time they are not, they are, as the time you're receiving them, they are data, raw data, with zero intrinsic meaning. This is very powerful. If you would develop your brain to understand that as at the time that data is coming to you, events happen, someone said something, you saw something, you hear something, that those are raw data with zero intrinsic meaning. Train your brain, train your mind to look at everything like that. In short, for you to be able to become that individual that observe instead of labeling, I'll talk a bit about that. You must develop that muscle that sees everything as raw data with zero intrinsic meaning. And then this raw data goes through your body system. This is not a biology class, but then it gets to the brain through the central nervous system. Data is running with speed. And then it gets to this brain. The brain starts to interpret it. To say, what is this? What does it mean? Doesn't mean I'm dying. Doesn't mean I can't make money anymore. Oh, school fees is 10 million, whatever currency. Oh, doesn't mean I can't pay it anymore. Oh, all of those does it, quick data. But the point is, how does this data happen? Remember the boxes you have kept in the past. That's where it goes to sort out. What information do we have to interpret this thing with? And in seconds, this activities takes place. Interpretation is right in front of you. And the question is, am I accepting it or not? Am I accepting it or not? Am I accepting it or not? So let me show us this. Yeah, it says between stimulus, which is raw data, and your response is a space. And in that space is your power to choose your response. And in your response lies your growth and freedom. Does anyone want to grow and be free? It's in your response. Between the raw data and your response is a gap. That is where kings are made, in that gap. That is where opportunities are created, in that gap. That is where reconciliation happens, in that gap. That is where you become emotional intelligence, in that gap. In that gap is what makes you human. That gap between stimulus and response. And it's a muscle. So emotional intelligence is about learning, expanding that muscle. So let's go back to where we were before. Yeah, so I explained this. So let's look at what I just explained. So you see, data is coming through, and then it goes to your limbic system first. The question then, why would it go there? Well, nature said so. Probably because that is actually required for our safety, right? So the caveman, it was territorial survival that were the language then. So it goes to the emotional brain first. When people process data from this emotional brain, they act in a way that you say to them, you're not an animal, you're better than this. The human being emotionally intelligent is saying, between when I see this data, when it gets my emotional brain, there's a gap. Don't act until it climbs. Are you seeing? To the thinking brain. Wait, let that data make connections with all the trainings you have received. Let that data make connections with the family resolution you've done, that, oh no, we don't do like this in this family. Let that data that is coming in, make connection with the decision you made that you're going to save money, you're not going to be buying everything. Let it make decision with, allow it to climb to your neocortex so that it makes decision with the part of you that says, I won't be afraid of you again. That's being emotionally intelligent. So the data is coming. It hits your emotional brain. You would want to show and manifest, but you're saying no. I have some beliefs now. I have then listened to this. Humans are capable, humans are genius. I can do it. I set this goal. I will wake up early. I'm not going to be stuck in procrastination. I won't be saying things that are unprofessional. I will work hard. Those are the decisions I made some time ago. And I probably wrote down those decisions. So as this data is coming, you're saying, I won't process you from the emotional brain, because you know what? The emotional brain does not have the ability to process complex data. The truth is that it shuts down the release of oxygen or blood to certain parts of the body once we activate it. And it sends blood and energy to maybe your hands, your feet, your heart, so that you will act. What are we saying? Wait and let that data get to the thinking brain. But you know what? If there's no information, if there's no training, if there's no reprogramming process that is already taking place in the thinking brain, when data gets to the thinking brain, there will be anything there. It comes back to the emotional brain, and then you're totally hijacked. So two things. You must wait for data to get to the thinking brain, for data to get to the thinking brain, so that you can interpret it in a way that's empowering. But it doesn't end there. You have to consistently put information in the thinking brain so that data can see what to process with in a way that is empowering. I hope that is emotional intelligence. Two brains, the chimp and the human brain. The chimp is actually like 5 times stronger than humans. It's energy in motion. It wants to move. But the aim is not to stop it. The aim is to develop muscles in the brain that allows data to get to the human brain, the thinking brain, and then uploading a lot of data to the human brain, so that once that information comes in, it will be processed, and then you are making empowering decisions. So that's why you then see people that would say, oh, I'd already decided that anytime my husband, my spouse, my boss does this, I will write. Or I'm in a meeting, somebody is beginning to act in a certain way. I've decided I'm going to be writing. So that data comes. You allow it to go up. You pick your pen and paper and start writing. That writing helps you not to react in a way that is disempowering. But an empty brain, there's no brain that is empty, but a brain that is not learning, a human brain that is not learning, might not be able to do all of this. Now, one of the things, another pillar that I'm giving us is, one will start to become emotionally intelligent, to start to judge less, because there's something that judging does. Life is not about black and white. There's learning in the gray. What developing the muscle of the brain that helps you observe does is that it gives you close to 360-degree view of things, as against labeling. Because remember, you are labeling based on the data that was stored in the past. But if you are trying to develop a habit of observation, you are trying to gather data from the now and in the future. But every time you're judging and labeling, you are referencing data in the past. And that past may not be helping us. But when you're observing, you are leveraging and learning from the data of the present and the data of the possible future. That is how to get the future, to live from the emerging future and not from the past. Of course, we can't move forward looking to the past. So that's it about labeling and judging. So develop that muscle of that practice of just observing. Oh, she's not black. Oh, she's this. I don't need to call it black or white or pink or yellow. It is what it is. And then I am saying, instead of saying, oh, she is this, or this person is this, I'm saying, what is it that led to this? Because it's clear that, yeah, he killed the murderer. Somebody died, he killed someone. But you see, growth is not in he killed someone. Yeah, it's done. It's what led to that. What thinking, what happened 5 years ago, what happened 2 years ago. In being able to then focus on observing that data, I'm creating better meanings and seeing what not to do. So let's move, because again, all of the time we have just about 1 hour to do this. So he who cannot control amygdala will be emotionally who can control amygdala will be emotionally intelligent. Lack of control is emotional hijack. The moment you're processing from your emotional brain, the human is now subjugated. Maybe that's the word, right? Good. What else do I have here? Again, there are times that we say, oh, this is not what I'm comfortable with. This is what I am comfortable with. Question for us all of the time we're saying that is, where did we learn that comfort from? Is it empowering or not? Because you learned it. You learned what you're comfortable with. You learned it. So that's why I then tell people that emotionally intelligent people work from the results. They are saying, what result do I want to create? How do I interpret data so that I can create that result? What results? They live from an imagined future, not from the past. What response do I want? Therefore, I react so that I can elicit that response. That is the leader. So, I mean, your ability to recognize, understand yourself, and then choose a different thought. We already talked about that part. Have you had to express or exhibit the signs of low IQ? Remember the chimp: depression, prone to violence, waiting disorder, irritability, impatience, incivility, impoliteness, drug abuse. And every time we say, he did it, no, nobody did it. Whatever thing they did there, that is raw data. You processed it, interpreted it, and then decided on your reaction. And then anger, are we then saying you shouldn't be angry? No, anger is your friend. Anger is data. It's coming from inside you to say, I feel bad about this. And then, I mean, if it's a bigger class, we'll then start to say, what are the things you should get angry at? Because those are pointers to your values. So anger helps you understand the things that are important to you. They are messengers. Have you seen the part of listening to yourself, observing first? They are messengers. What information has this anger come with? What deep pain is this anger revealing? Someone is having a conversation with a family, and then all of a sudden the person starts to get angry and cry. Ooh, after that, you sit back and say, why did I get angry and cry? Oh, an event happened sometime that I didn't process well, and it went deep into my subconscious mind and it sat there. It was only 5 years later when somebody said something similar in the family group chat. I didn't know how my chimp traveled 5 years back in seconds, and all of a sudden, the response just came automatic. This individual busted out crying and getting angry. Have you seen? That anger is saying there's an unresolved emotion we need to deal with. It's a messenger. And when you start to deal with it, as it's coming, you're not covering it, you're not numbing it. You are dealing with it. I'm going to show you part of some of the ways to deal with it. Just can't say so much today. And then as you're dealing with it, you are getting better. Like I mentioned, you can become very productive and creative if you have a lot of unresolved emotional pain. We live in a world where people say for peace to reign, and then they are numbing their chimp. No, you don't numb the chimp. You nurture it. You recognize it. You have a deep-seated conversation with it, not in the park, not in the office, alone, or with whoever coach that you have. You have that deep-rooted conversation with the chimp, because the chimp must be expressed somehow. And then there are times I just give the chimp 10 minutes of vexing with yourself, by yourself, in the mirror, whichever way, so that all the data that is flowing to your conscious mind, you become aware of it, and then you process it. We say to boys, don't cry, you're a boy. Really? You're saying, numb your chimp. Chimp is what makes us to be able to procreate, to connect emotionally. Now you see why I was talking. I remember I was doing a coaching, with someone, and he said, and we're talking about connecting, and he said, "Am I even connecting myself?" And I really understood where that's coming from. Where you've grown up numbing and numbing and numbing and numbing and numbing and numbing and numbing the parts that helps you connect. You can't connect with yourself. You can't connect with another person. The chimp must be nurtured. The chimp must be processed in a way that is intelligent, so that the chimp will calm down. It's just like a baby. No, you must find a way to chimp. Okay, let's be calming down. I know you're a thing. I understand that you brought this issue that happened in the past. Okay, how did I feel about it then? How should I now feel about it? And then there's something that we call reframing in NLP, where you're looking at the same event and you are saying, how else can I look at it so that you empower me? Somebody will say, oh, I lost my dad. Oh, I remember I was talking to someone. I was having a session with someone, and then she says that, oh, and I said, she goes out of, she over, you know what I'm saying, people are always extra, like she will do 5 things at the same time. I'm like, calm down. And then when she's not stopping, I say, tell me how you grew up. And then I realized that she was that person that didn't get a lot of attention growing up. So she's actually trying to make up for events of the 20 years, running at the deep unconscious level. So these are the things that happen once you get emotionally hijacked. I remember my first son, he's 14 now. He said, anytime when we're dealing with emotional intelligence in the house, he said, anytime you're emotionally, when the time you are hijacked, what you are beaming out is danger, danger. Of course, we all know that we're energy. We're all energy. So anytime we are hijacked emotionally, what we are beaming out, what we are vibrating to our loved ones, to our bosses, to friends, to pastors, everybody, we are saying, I am dangerous. I'm a chimp. I'm a dangerous. I am chimp. I'm dangerous. That's what that's what they are feeling. That's the energy they are getting from us. And now you wonder why people that are not able to control their emotions, there's certain promotions they don't get. Because then they say he knows the job very well. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure. And then they will get some other person that is able to activate their human faster, the humanity in them faster, their neocortex faster, and then give them certain positions. Remember the first conversation we had? If you want to go far in life, we need to develop the emotional intelligence muscle. So already rounding up, your adulthood achievement reflects how you have managed your emotions and thinking. Yes, because there's something that I say to us. We live in a very abundant nature environment. I'm looking at time. Okay, I should be able to finish. We are living in a very abundant natural environment. The universe is fruitful, it's loving, it's fully resourced. All of the information, of the resources we require to be exceptional is already on this planet Earth as I speak to you now. It is our ability to combine resources that is the problem. Our ability to combine resources that is the problem. The more you become emotionally intelligent, you will increase in your ability to combine resources because you will think more. You will not distract your emotions more. You will sit down and think. Thinking is the highest function that a human being is capable of. Your success in adulthood reflects how well you have handled your emotions and used your thinking styles. And then I always say, how do you measure growth for an adult? It's a rhetorical question. So we have psychology facts. I think we can just go past here. Conscious mind or unconscious mind, something that we can check out. We had already explained this to say that when we start to do things, like when we're, maybe you just started typing. The first time you do the typing, you're still looking for where the keys are in a keyboard. And then one day you realize that without looking at the keyboard, you're still able to type. Reason, the muscle memory has then, the new neural pathways that support that behavior has been established. So that's why when we start to become emotionally intelligent, you start to develop new muscle memory, new neural pathways that would support the behavior you are trying to entrench. But remember, you must establish the behavior first. Lock it up at the human brain level so that when data comes and the chimp is it's made not to react. When it gets to the human brain, it will pick it and work with what you have already pre-agreed. This guy says that 2% of the people think, 3% of the people think that they think, and 95% of the people would rather die than think. Again, about combining resources. If you're always emotionally hijacked, you can't combine resources that nature has given us very well. So we've gone past here. We're just rounding up. Another exercise, you can take all of the spiritual contribution, connections, relationship, the things that are important to you, health, and say, how am I doing in these areas? What will I score myself? You can do score, you can see yourself from 1 to 10. What am I scoring myself here? Where are the areas I'm having issues? And then notice that it's your program in those areas that is the problem. So if it is relationship, or maybe every time I get into a relationship, it breaks up. Every time I get into a relationship, this happens. Stop blaming everybody. Go back. What are my beliefs around relationship? What are the events that happened in my past that determines the person I go for, the lady I go for, the man I go for? How do I respond to issues in the relationship? Do I numb it, keep quiet for peace to reign? It's trauma. And then you're not choosing yourself. Then one day you get so angry, you break up everything. What are we saying? If it is money, ask yourself, what do I think about the things that create money? Oh, do I still feel that work is hard? Work can be hard because, again, you are imposing a negative energy on something that is a necessary task. You must love work. Not to kill yourself, but you see the concept of work? God created man and he gave us Eden. He made Adam to get to Eden, work. So to be alive is to be doing something, right? And all, go back to this reflection. How can you then start to build emotional intelligent relationship with yourself first, and then with others? I've given us a lot of tips and tools. Managing your impulsive emotional change as an adult to be one of the biggest factors determining how successful you are in life. This is just for 1 hour. I believe that probably Dr. Chus would, as time goes on, can do more. There's a lot to this. This is just wetting your mind to understand that what is stopping you may just be that you're operating a low IQ in a particular area in your life. All right. What's my rule book? We're just rounding up. What is my rule book? We've talked about that. What are the vampires of your cognitive resources? What are those things that drain you? Pay attention to them and start to eliminate or reframe. It's either you eliminate or you reframe. Example of eliminating is maybe it's a relationship or maybe a practice that drains you. Eliminate. But if it's something you can eliminate, look at that event and reframe it. Find stronger meanings, find more empowering meanings, so that every time you look at that event, you are bringing out empowering interpretation from it. Identify your emotion drainers, disempowering cultural belief system within the society. What meanings do I give to things that trigger me? Next time you're going to get angry, or you're going to start to procrastinate, or you are going to, maybe you're not thinking, ask yourself, what meaning am I giving to the events that happened to me today or similar events in the past that is triggering this emotion? Psychological inquiry is what makes us human. When someone says that it's only 2% of the people that think, I don't totally believe, but again, psychological inquiry is not a practice that we are culturally heavily used to as Africans. So work is stressful, part of what you eliminate. And when I teach this person this skill, the person will go above me at work. What you need to eliminate. If I praise my wife, if I praise my child, the wife becomes proud. Elimination. If I admit I'm wrong, I'm going to be less of a man. You need to eliminate, because these are disempowering belief systems that are in your boxes. You need to bring it out. Eliminate. All women are bad, all men are scam. Eliminate. Money is hard to find. Big fat lie. Money does not fly on the trees. I attract money because everything is energy. I'm in alignment with the money that I require, and they are coming to me in thousands, in millions. Yes, I'm not afraid of money. I'm also not afraid to spend and to receive. Oh, Gen Zs are mannerless. That's another programming that is taking place now. Resist it. They are amazing people. I work with only JZs and they give me what I want. There's a way to work with them. You need to learn it. Simple. Oh, prayer is the key to everything. We know it's a wrong belief. Wisdom comes with age. It's a lie. A child cannot correct adults. This one has eaten deep into Africa. Take it off, because these are the reasons you get emotionally hijacked. The belief systems that are wrong. Parents are always right. We know. Hero worshiping. Bosses don't apologize, but leaking. Complaining and doing nothing. Learn helplessness. Gosh, this one hijacks us. Because what then happens that every time you look at yourself, you be like, oh, I cannot. But then you want to be productive and creative. Good. This picture here, what you see is subjective. The moment you change your perception is the moment you write the chemistry of your body. That perception, thought, interpretation, that's where becoming emotionally intelligent starts from. This guy is B, but one guy is seeing honey, another one is seeing dirt. You can learn any pattern you have learned up until now. Conquering self is about learning your patterns and learning new ones. That's conquering self. Conquering self is not a thing of willpower, no. It's on learning. So it becomes a new behavior. So a new you is developed, a new muscle memory, new neural pathway that will support the new you is created. So that again, events happen, you look at it, and then you are interpreting it from a way that somebody says, oh, this one is very intelligent. No. It's work you have done. It's work you have done. And then you will realize that the quality of people that gravitate towards you will start to grow and increase. Because every time they are wondering the way you see things, the way you handle issues, how are you able to do it? No, it's that the human brain is constantly activated. Yeah. So emotional intelligence toolbox, it's not being quiet. I've talked about it. It's not letting peace reign. It's being able to understand yourself, why you are thinking the way you're thinking, why the other person may actually be thinking that way, and saying, how do I activate genius here? How do I make these people authentic? How do we achieve the result we want in the way that you communicate? I already talked about being still again, taking a moment to be still. It's a practice I started since it's over 4 years, 5 years now. Every day, bringing at times, I do up to 1 hour and I don't want to stop. Just be still. Be still and connect with your spiritual intelligence. So that again, you will lock your responses up at the human brain level and you're responding better every day. There are some of the transformational leadership belief system. I'm just going to read through with the person with the most flexibility of the behavior has the greatest influence on others. The person with the most flexibility of behavior. This means that the person that can think about possible options of responding and the possible effect they will have would influence more people and be in charge, in control of the system. There are no unresourceful people. We are all genius. Everyone created by God. With a spirit, that a spirit being living in a body, having a soul, we are all geniuses. We only have unresourceful states. So every time that you are not being creative, that you're not being productive, ask yourself, what unresourceful state am I in? What has triggered it? It may be nutrition. It may be lack of sleep. It may be emotional states. Yes, but you need to continue to do that psychological inquiry. There is no failure. Every failure is what? There's no failure, only feedback. Utilize everything. People create their own experiences. I think that's much we can take out from here. I already talked about the 6-second rule. Pause so that data will get to the neocortex. Concluding, let's face the truth. Uncover your history, biases, parenting environments, and emotional experiences that shape perspective, decisions, and relationships. Uncover it. Face your truth. Don't numb it. Upgrade your mindset. Challenge those beliefs. Create mantra and learn from achievers to transform your thinking. You see, you are uncovering it. You are loading up your thinking brain with better belief system. And then you are practicing deep breathing, consequential thinking, 6-second rules, building new neural pathways to unlock your emotional intelligence. These 3 things, if you do it consistently, you will be shocked at the sort of results you will start to create. It is not about being born with it. Yes, some people have some of the traits, but not everyone. It's about training your mind muscle. Just the way you go to train to become an accountant, you go to train to become a lawyer, to become emotionally intelligent. It is 10% learning, 90% put it into action. It's work. Because if it took 20 years or to program us, it's going to take a lot of time, a bit of work and pain, painful work, painful realization, painful repentance to relearn. But here is the truth. You can't become more emotionally intelligent than the baggage you're carrying in your deep subconscious mind. It is time to confront and release those limitations and unlock your full potential and become emotionally intelligent. You may need to release people in your mind. You may need to release events in your mind and say, how did you come to serve me? And that is something that's helped me. I will always say, everything that's ever happened to me, every experience I've heard, they are the perfect wood that I require for the fire I am born to ignite. So once I am on this belief system, I'm then saying, how have you come to serve me? What data are you bringing to me? How do you want me to look at events going forward? How do I position myself so that the past, what I'm taking from the past is the best of the past into my future? Very, very important. And if you're a Christian here, it's easy to actually become emotionally intelligent because you know what? You have your Bible. See those principles of the Bible? You can't break it. You can only break yourself against it. So go back to the Bible. I remember one place I said, whatsoever thing is true, whatsoever thing is of good report, think on this. That's an emotional intelligence tool for a child of God. In all things I say, rejoice. Is an emotional intelligence tool. Be anxious for nothing. In all things with prayer and supplication. It's an emotional intelligence tool because it works on the belief system. You code it at the human level, the human brain level, so that when events come, you give it back the word of God. Doc, thank you very much. Taking a bit of time, but I thought that.
Wow. Take down your slide.
Okay.
I'm so full. There's so much you have shared that we need to go through them again. We need to unpack them properly. We don't have time. We've overshot time for today. And I know we have part 3, but I think there's a part 4 and a part 5 coming. I think so. Because the things you shared in the last 15, 20 minutes, I know you were just rushing to cover them, but it's something I think we need to spend a bit more time. This is powerful, life-changing information. Powerful. And I love to do more justice to it and help people to connect with this truth. This is so transformational. This is so transformational. So, but thank you for your time tonight. Like I said, we already scheduled a part 3, but there's a part 4 and there's a part 5. There are a number of questions. So we're going to have an episode where we will field questions. I have a lot of them. So, but thank you for your time. I don't want to take the broadcast more than we have taken. We will get through part 3, and then we'll do part 4, and then we'll do part 5. Is that good? Thank you for your time. Thank you so much for sharing. Maybe at our next episode, I will ask for how people can reach you. All right? But thank you. We're so grateful for your time and your wisdom tonight. God bless you.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Have a good evening too. All right. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Yeah. Bye.